Hi there, this is Ready Steady Yeti, and I have come to present to you a review of the Flash website based on my favorite TV series and book franchise. The best in the history of television and books, in my opinion anyway. I'm sure lots of you out there think otherwise. Mona the Vampire, a Canadian franchise created and produced by Sonia Hollyman, is basically about a young girl, right here, Mona, of course, who imagines herself as a vampire hero, episodically running around in her vampire costume pretending to save her town from monsters, ghouls, aliens, villains, and other supernatural things in general. She does this sort of play with her friends, Lily, imagining herself as a princess, Princess Giant, Charlie, calling himself Zapman and wearing an alien-like costume, and Mona's cat Fang, who has the same name but alternatively wears a pair of bat-like wings. The show is really amazing, but, well, as for the website, which is, as is obvious, based on the show, I'm not sure if I could exactly say the same thing about it. Well, you see, I originally thought, since the show was so appealing, that if I went to this website it would have been put together just about as well, with really cool platform, adventure, or whatever else kinds of levels. But when I decided to actually visit the website, it was a bit disappointing compared to what I expected. You see, it's just a bit, blah, like bland. More suitable for ages 5 or something. Very buggy and cheesy, and in general obviously wasn't put together with so much effort, and the programmers didn't spend much time on it. However, as a critic in a review video, I will not be completely negative, especially since it is my favorite franchise. I will say that a very young age group may likely enjoy playing on this site. And that's really what it seems to be meant for anyway. Just for someone my age or a little younger, maybe preteen, teenager, or heck, even some adults still like this show. This website is not really recommended by me for that age group. Anyway, so let's get started with the overview of the site. As you can see, the site is split into two different languages, English and French, since the biggest audiences of the show tend to speak either of the two. I'm just going to pick English since that's my native language. Oh, and one more thing before we start, just to clarify, I am American, not Canadian. Well, as you can see here, the website was, surprisingly enough, as poor of quality this website holds, was created by one of the same companies that helped to produce the show, Alphanim. On another note, I'm actually surprised the site is still around, as the show is getting less and less popular and more old over the years, and really wasn't ever that popular to begin with. So the site starts out with a message from Mona, as you can see, and then it goes into the main map. Now this site has tons of little games and stuff hanging around here, and all within these 4 main areas. Let's go to this one, Play with Mona, since that's the most notable introductory thing that I see to add to this video. This section holds a bunch of little games. So first off, let me explain that I do not actually know how to play some of these games here on this site, even after pressing the help buttons, because the site is not well created, which is another thing I must warn you about this site. I will give you a perfect example of this in the level Not Even Scared. So in the level, you're apparently supposed to drag these monster heads to the character with which they are associated. But when I try that, it doesn't work every time. For some reason, no matter how much I try, it still doesn't help. See? Oh yeah, and they have a help button that also doesn't even help at all. See, it just tells you. It just tells you what I just did. I don't know exactly what I'm doing wrong here, but there's obviously something else that you need to do that the game doesn't actually tell you, which is one notable, huge disadvantage of the site right here, is lack of explanation. Okay. Next, I'm going to briefly show you another of these mini-games, Have I Lost My Head? Oh, another thing I've noticed is a lot of the titles in this game are miscapitalized, which is sort of weird, due to the fact that adults are the ones who created this site. I'd assume, anyway. So, in this minigame, you are supposed to unscramble characters into their correct bodies. Well, the thing I'm going to show you here is that, despite the fact that this is the English section of the site, it still has a bunch of French words thrown around in the site, which seems to be another lack of effort in creating the site, which I'll show you right now. Perdu. An example of this is when I lose, it says perdu, or however you pronounce it. I don't really know. A French term meaning lost. Well, now, the word perdu has also entered the English lexicon according to Wiktionary. Well, but that's not the point. That's not the case for all the French terms here, but you get my point. Also, all of the links, see, also have names that are in French, which is not exactly a horrible thing because, you know, who cares about the links? Well, I do suspect that the reason for this may be that the show was made in Canada, where many or most of the citizens there speak at least some French, and it is also popular in the UK, where French is also a very commonly learned language. However, I think they should have considered the fact that not everyone who watches this show will be from these countries. Well, I'll admit that a great bit of the people in the US are almost clueless of other languages and cultures. Well, we are getting better about that, though. I, in particular, am very particularly interested in the language field of study, and have been for quite the while now, despite being American. However, not everyone in the world will be like me, obviously. Well, anyway, enough on this subject. There are tons of little games like this, but they actually aren't as important as the one I'm about to show you. This one is different. It is called Lone Adventure, and this page gives you a couple of pictures and tells you to write a story describing what the pictures mean. You also are supposed to submit it, giving your first name, age, and email address. And if your story is the one that whoever is behind the curtain in the site administration, like the best, they will pick it and post it on the page called This Month's Choice. Critically speaking, the site is apparently supposed to have a monthly submission. However, when I first came here in January this year, 2014, this same story was here as is now, and the same story in this month's choice was also here. Maybe this is because the site had a bit more visitors at a time, but now there may very likely not even be anyone submitting anything right now. So this may be why the story hasn't changed for who knows how long. Okay, let's go back to the main map now. And next go into the Mona in Your Home area, which is right here. So this area basically holds some pictures and wallpapers which you are intended to print out and take home. And the pictures and wallpapers are okay, actually. Nothing really to criticize here. Next, I'm going to take you to Mona's Secrets. Okay, so This is basically an episode guide. It's not the best episode guide. It has some issues. The entire layout of the episodes is miscapitalized, for all the titles are supposed to have a capital letter at the beginning of. You know, all that stuff. Hard to explain, especially this late at night. They have words that are even spelled wrong. Every episode in the list has its own entry describing the episode in Mona's point of view, and all of the entries have their own sub-entries describing a term in the context of the episode. It also lists the names of the scriptwriter of the episode below the book here. Okay, enough of this. Let's move on to the last thing. The last little area here is called Mona Dance. So here is basically a replaying of the theme song of the show, except instead of the visual aids the theme gives, it gives an animated video of Mona dancing, which is sort of entertaining, but it sort of looks silly and cheesy at the same time, which isn't really a bad thing. It's actually kind of funny. As a matter of fact, I'll just let you guys sit here and watch it right now, just for kicks, so sit back and enjoy. Okay, to conclude this review, the site is okay, but not great. Some parts are hard to grasp, and there is some French thrown around, which may be a bit strange to some people. It is generally a buggy, cheesy site, and is nothing compared to the real TV show or the book series. However, if you are looking for a good site with some simple games for a very young kid, especially based on Mona the Vampire, well, this site may satisfy you. But I'm giving this site a generally negative vote. Thanks for your time, and remember to subscribe for more Mona the Vampire videos from me, and even more stuff too. Thank you.